People are not happy with Elden Ring Sound the H3, you know, being nominated for Game of the Year. And it is pretty ridiculous of nominating a DLC for Game of the Year. Okay. Nominating DLC is such a disgrace. It's called Game of the Year. Ain't taking this event seriously anymore. DLC nominated for Game of the Year, and they saw the crown meme. Okay. So I forgot you can play Elden Ring Sound the L3 without owning Elden Ring. Which you can't. You need to have Elden Ring to play the Elden Ring DLC. Rigged already. DLC for Game of the Year? Are you kidding me? It's just so ridiculous that they nominated Elden Ring for Elden Ring's DLC for Game of the Year. Like, remakes understand, like, sometimes they can have a very good remake, and for some reason they won't nominate for Game of the Year. For example, you had that Final Fantasy 7 remake, which everybody liked, but they didn't nominate it because it wasn't original because it was a remake. Or, they could have easily nominated that Fauzi Adore remake for Game of the Year. Why did they nominate that for Game of the Year? Considering the fact it's the Fauzi Adore, and it's one of the most beloved RPGs of all time. I really don't understand that one. But hey, we nominated Elden Ring's DLC for Game of the Year. Okay, we got it nominated. I really don't understand why they're nominating a DLC for Game of the Year. So already, the Game Awards is already compromised as it is. Okay, people were not happy with Elden Ring being nominated for Game of the Year, saying DLCs are not real games. Again, you need to own Elden Ring to own the DLC. So I agree with these people. A DLC should not be Game of the Year. Okay, there is no reason a DLC of a game that only released 2 years ago should be nominated for Game of the Year. And yes, the Elden Ring developers from Software did put a lot of work and effort into the DLC, but it's an expansion on an already existing game. You need to own Elden Ring to own the DLC. Okay, it would be different if Elden Ring Sound the Entry was a sequel to Elden Ring. Okay, then yes, it should be nominated for Game of the Year. But it being a DLC, you need to own Elden Ring to play. Okay, which is ironic that these same people are criticizing Elden Ring like on here. Okay, but they call Tears of the Kingdom DLC. Do you need to own Breath of the Wild to play Tears of the Kingdom? No, you do not. You do not need to own Breath of the Wild to play Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, the problem with Elden Ring the Sound of the H3 is you need to own Elden Ring to play the DLC. Okay, and the Game Awards got ratioed, obviously, here, and maybe finally the people will rise up against the Game Awards and not take them seriously anymore. Okay, because the Game Awards will not be taken seriously if they're going to nominate DLCs for Game of the Year. Okay? Because it makes them look like absolute jokes. I think the reason why they nominated the Elden Ring DLC is because they want to try to see, hey, if we don't nominate Dragon Age the Valley God for Game of the Year and give Elden Ring's DLC to make these people happy, maybe, just maybe, we'll finally, we'll finally get people to be happy, but people are upset either way because there's so many decent games that I heard of. Yet to freaking nominate a DLC for Game of the Year, and we talked about already all those games that were mentioned at besides like free games, so have been nominated instead of the Elden Ring DLC. Okay, but yeah, that's all this video here. Goodbye.